I am Al-Amin, founder and CEO of Swag Inc. Here for our live screening of Don't Rodney King Me. Got Jay Austin, our marketing team, got us up with our messaging, with our audience, and so we're really excited to be here today. We can't wait for you to get the finished product.
That's right.
We incorporated in 2019, August 2nd. After our release from prison, March 22nd, 2018, we're able to incorporate. But I wrote my business plan over a 5-year period of incarceration as a way to create legacy for myself, elevate the status of people that's been impacted by mass incarceration, and own what my reentry looked like. All right, here's my mom and my people. Hello. Hold on, I'll be right back. Stay right there. My 2 hood stars have arrived. Jonathan Rose, Tamira, you want to say hi? I'm here for the screening of Don't Rodney King Me.
I'm so excited.
Hey, Mama, how are you doing? You have a beard? You have it? You have a beard? That means you want to say hi? Say hello,
Hi,
world.
hello.
What you come here to do? Where you going?
Come to see Don't Rodney King Me.
Camera right here. This is Thurman, my guy. What's good, brother? Come on in.
Yeah, I'm going to see if my lights went out. I'll be right back.
Okay. Everybody just coming in and stepping up.
Yeah, we get so
Good to see you.
What's up?
Glad you can come out. This is Mark Serrano. We filmed Don't Rodney King Me in his studio over a year and some change ago now.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
It's been a minute. So it's his first viewing of it, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes me. How we doing? Good. Good to see you, bro. How you been? We want to present you with a present from Swag Inc.
Oh, really?
Our non-profit serve witness and give guidance, inspiration, and seasons. Also a rose. Be careful, they got thorns on them. Kind of thing. Be good there.
Thank you so
All right. We
much.
really appreciate you coming out. Really appreciate the support of the chamber. And so we're glad you can go. Got a nice swag box. Also, you want to get a VIP ticket. Day pass to the Blakk Co. It's going to be a ticket that you can use anytime during the year.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it so
So, let's step right over here if we could. We have Mike. He's going to be filming for us. He's going to ask a question. Yes, I love it.
My guy, touch his hand. I just want to touch his hand. How you doing, man?
Man, love, bro. Love, bro. You know, it's good, bro. Man, it's good to see you. It's been a while, bro. Congratulations on the newborn and the family. That's why I'm good. Absolutely. So, what side is this?
clean up well.
Thank you. Okay.
I'm nice. Man of the hour, huh?
It appears that way.
Wow.
It appears that way. On behalf of Swag Inc., our champion is Vicky Holocaust. Watch it, you got thorns. Be careful. There's thorns there for you. Okay.
That's so awesome.
Thank you for being the champion for us. Even in there. You have your ticket.
You met you.
I did. You
have a wonderful son. Thank you. We have good friends for the last 6 months.
Right. That was my daughter.
Okay.
Azzy, good, baby.
had to go to
So I'm glad you all can come.
Absolutely. We just want to be
Good. How you doing? Glad you all can come out. So y'all have some things for you. Jay, this is Simone. This is Azra.
Nice to meet
This is her sister, Laura. This is my creative team. Mark, and Jay, Mr. Al-Amin.
wonderful.
This is what it is.
We're going to get started.
What's up, Kyle?
Oh, that's his daughter. That's his daughter.
How to get
From Swag E. Absolutely. And this is a day pass to the Blakk Co, so you can come when they have many of their events. You got the 1 day pass at any time. So we really appreciate you supporting Swag E. You got some more swag for you too, love. How you doing today?
What's your name?
My name is Al-Amin.
I work on 9. We will handle that part, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Dad is going to introduce you. Sounds great. What you doing?
Absolutely. We really appreciate
And how long
you.
have you been here?
And so I was released from prison March 22nd, 2018. Since 2018.
4 years.
4 years. Absolutely. Our nonprofit is incorporated. We have a funding entity that has funded us over 3 years. We're members of the Kansas City Chamber of Commerce, working with a partnership with J.E. Dunn, we work with FedEx, partnering with the Department of Corrections to implement our pre-entry business model. So working with our clients 1 year before release, and then 1 to 3 years in the community to ensure that they discharge corrections. And so no one is doing that other than Swag E, and KC Mo and arguably in the country.
May I have your attention, please? Thank you. I'm going to have everybody take a seat, please. Find you a seat, get comfortable. Make sure you're facing the televisions, preferably. Let's all get situated because we are excited to view what's about to hit the TV. Bluetooth is connected. Thank you, thank you. Find you a seat. If you need an access place to put your coats, feel free to do so at the back of the room. There's plenty of chairs back there where you're welcome to hang your coats or jackets. Have y'all had a good Black History Month?
Oh, yeah.
Are we celebrating Black every day?
Every day.
I'm just saying, is it every day?
365.
365, love it. I want to take a moment to introduce myself as well as my business partner and welcome you all to the Blakk Company. My name is Christina and this is
Pamela.
And so we are the co-owners of the Blakk Company, which is a membership-based company where we provide safe space for both men and women of color. You are currently sitting inside of Blakk, which is the male version of our social club. We decided to open up this safe space in our community for our men after the George Floyd situation in 2020. We understood as women that it was very few places represented in our community for our men where they could just truly be who they are and simply breathe. So we definitely welcome you all out to the Blakk Company. Let's go ahead and give it up for Naeem. I think you see him sitting over there. And we will get started, so just stay put and we'll be right back with you.
Imagine with me, if you will, close your eyes, being that young kid on a walk through your neighborhood. What did you see? What did you hear? What did you smell? Did you feel safe? fact that I had to do anything is what I'm getting at. Safety is a moment. Security is a status. Don't Rodney King me. The Rodney King beating of 1991 would be an accurate description of every black person in America at the time that this happened. It was a reference to the duality of existence that W. Du Bois so eloquently wrote about, down to the prophetic affirmation that the problem of the 21st century would be the problem of the color line. It was a lowering of the curtain of qualified immunity doctrine rationalized by the Supreme Court on its problem child. It was a beat-down submission to our place in the social stratification of America. It was a reminder that the Constitution of America stands as one of the most hypocritically flawed documents to be revered, is the very people that made all the sacrifices we so proudly enjoy are left out of it. The Rodney King beating of 1991 was while I was processed and arrested for robbery at 8 years old. I was never directed to talk to a counselor or a social worker. Nah, it's not an indicator for help or an indicator that something is wrong here. Mass incarceration would attempt to fit you into his narrative. The Rodney King beating of 1991 was soften the punch that D-Dog threw to put me onto the Rolling 60s neighborhood Crip gang. The Crenshaw district would become my home, and the Rolling 60s would become my family. Mass incarceration tends to operate in fear. Generally, when you're in fear from something, you seek shelter and hide. Mass incarceration will present you in the eyes of the duality of existence as Rodney King. I bury young and old Rodney Kings that have been beat down by mass incarceration and couldn't help but feel that I was up next from my hole in Inglewood Cemetery. And when they ran out of land for the builders' use, they started building skyscraper mausoleums. As I stared into that TV screen, watching all those white officers, hearing the sounds of the radio and the helicopter and the muffled voice of the reporter, I just remember images and sounds. In my adolescent mind, I couldn't wait to kill all of those motherfuckers. They were beating down my future by making me help want to destroy it. George Holliday used the camera to record the March 3rd, 1991 assault. 30 years later, George Holliday can be quoted on NBC News as saying, the same issues surrounding King's beating still seem to be occurring decades later. Racial tension is there. The video he captured is approximately 1 minute, 10 seconds. Things have gotten worse. 8 minutes, 4 seconds for George Floyd. And taking 1 minute, 10 seconds, mass incarceration is looking to finesse you for 8 minutes, 4 seconds until you is getting better. Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Al-Amin, and I want to welcome you all on a journey through dysfunction, trauma, poverty, and systemic racism, the story of my life. Don't Rodney King Me is an excerpt from my memoir, Returning Citizen from Debtor to Owner, which is an illustration of mass incarceration's impact on my life. But before we get started, I would like to know, how did this experience make you feel? Close your eyes and imagine with me being that young kid in your neighborhood. What did you hear? What did you smell? What did you see? Will someone from the audience participate with me? It's Gigi.
That's something that everybody should keep in mind, anybody of color. But when you say 8 years old, it takes me back to Martin Luther King, when the civil rights movement started. The same thing that was going on back in the 60s is going on now in the 2020s. It's embarrassing, it's humbling, and it makes me angry to know that with all the strides that we made in the 70s, in the late 60s and 70s with the Black Panther movement, that the continuation of what they were doing has not happened. And that we are falling back into the trenches of being Negroes. Doesn't matter whose feelings are getting hurt with that. And secondly, people may find a problem. We need to remember our cultural heritage, which is African. Everybody identifies with the word black, but we are not black the color, we are Africans. And in my mind, until we deal with that and call ourselves Africans, then we will never be respected in this country and across the diaspora. Because those who call themselves black are not following the platform of the Black Panther movement. So they should not call themselves black. But if it makes them feel good, fine. What do I think? I'm just happy to be here and happy to have met you.
Wow. Thank you for that sagacious feedback.
Yes, sir.
In the back, please.
Hi, everybody.
Tamira.
My name is Tamira. When I close my eyes and think about my childhood and growing up, it brings me back to a time my family was exploited by the police, by the Cops TV show. And my dad, he was put on Cops. And due to that, he ended up losing his job. You know, so there goes my safety and security right there.
Wow, we're definitely sorry that you had to experience that your family had to experience that. And I also know what it's like to be humiliated by the police as well. And so thank you for sharing that with us. Is there anyone else that would like to share? Aria?
Yeah. Hi guys, my name is Aria Lott. I immediately thought about the block in Oak Park, Illinois, and I think I thought about something that I took for granted, and that was the ability that we had to have the freedom to run, even knowing what was, not knowing, you know, knowing now but not knowing then, what was going on around us. But the freedom that we had just to run up and down the block for blocks and blocks, and to play without any real worries. You know? What I smelled was French fries.
So what?
French fries.
French fries.
No, it wasn't Mickey D's. It was like, it was Pete's. It was Pete's. It was
Pete's?
White Castle. It was, you know, the ability to go to the corner store. So I took those kind of things for granted and only wish that those were as easy to come by now as an adult.
I agree. Thank you for sharing that. So kind of what I heard was what I resounded, safety is a moment, security is a status. Tyron, did you have something you want to share?
Mass incarceration has affected my life because my pops, you know, he been in jail for 20 plus years, and it's just like, you know, that's probably hard growing up, you know, without that head roll, you know, trying to figure out it all on your own type stuff.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that truth, bro. I know that feeling too. I grew over my father as well. What the Don't Rodney King Me workshop hopes to establish is that environment of deference, to be able to share your truths, to be safe, to be secure in that. And so I will join you all and do the same. What did I hear in my community? I heard gunshots. What did I smell? Gun smoke. What did I see? Death of the various types, either those underground or the walking dead. I'm from the Crenshaw district of South Central Los Angeles. I'm a product of that environment. I've been impacted by mass incarceration over 30 years. I'm a second generation gangbanger, and I've been to prison 3 times, twice of which was something I didn't do. In Don't Rodney King Me, I highlighted 3 constructs that are, in my opinion, the building blocks to mass incarceration. Duality of existence, perceived disability theory, and qualified immunity doctrine. Let's consider those individually. Qualified immunity doctrine is rationalized by the Supreme Court. It allows for the infringement of civil liberties of citizens by the police. Allows for it. Perceived instability theory. It states that your environment should support your upward social mobility and that your future is defended in that, and that's confirmed every day that you enter your environment. But what if you have dilapidated buildings, broken down cars, broken people, drugs, violence, death? You start to believe that that's all your future can be. At least that's what I did. But I would be remiss if I didn't mention Carter G. Woodson, the father of Black History Month. He also authored The Miseducation of the Negro. In there, he provides a critique and a solution to the preceding civility theory. Carter G. Woodson says that true systemic racism may destroy the Black community, ingenuity, creativeness, and wealth out of the community, thereby giving us a double impact. But what is mass incarceration? I'm sure people here today may have a child, may have children, you may have a niece, you may have a nephew, a cousin, a sister, a brother. You may even be a mentor for an organization like Big Brothers Big Sisters. Well, we had Donuts with Dad Day, and my seat was empty, but my friend's wasn't. I knew my baby could identify the moment she's been impacted. I was serving a 5-year prison sentence for conspiracy to distribute cocaine, a situation in which I wasn't the target. My friend was under investigation. Because I didn't turn state evidence on him, he was released, and I got 68 months in prison, and I served 60. Mass incarceration is less about those that are incarcerated and more about what they leave behind: family, society, and economy. Mass incarceration will also attempt to fit you in this narrative. Let me tell you a short story. And so I knew this little kid, this little boy named Antoine Tingle. Antoine's dope, by the way. Bro's dope. Antoine, for the first part of his life, he lived with his nucleus family. But due to a life-changing event, he was placed in foster care. When he arrived at this foster care home, he was met by a gang leader. And they told him that in order for him to live here, he would have to commit a robbery so they know that he's good. So they put a 38 in his hand and told him to come back with it, or don't come back at all. Antoine got arrested. He failed miserably. He attempted to rob an adult Mexican man. He was processed, charged, and booked. This happened to Antoine when he was 8 years old. I'm Antoine Tingle 30 plus years later. Re-entry, or the process of leaving prison, is like returning from the dead. When you lose a family member to incarceration, it's like experiencing a death in the family. What you're asking that family to do is to carry sand in their hands over time. Right? Those that are incarcerated, we're stagnated. Our support systems are living in a motion picture that we're not included in. How dare you come infringe on that? I love you, though. It's a process. I wrote my business plan to Swag Inc., or serve, witness, and give guidance. Inspiration never ceases while I was incarcerated, as a way to create legacy, as a way to elevate the status of people like me that have been impacted by mass incarceration. But more important, to own what my reentry looked like and not to be controlled by a system. I was released from prison homeless, geographically displaced, and without any money. The Department of Corrections did not do my reentry plan 2 years prior to my releasing, and I had a support system. So I was released homeless. Within a short time, I found myself sleeping in the back of an apartment building in an abandoned car. Not an abandoned car, I'm sorry, in a car that had broke down. A car that my mother gave me so I can get situated. And I was running up and down the highway trying to figure things out, and ran the car into the ground. And now I'm sleeping in it in the back of an apartment building. First time in my life, I thought about killing myself. Just did 5 years. I'm still estranged from my family. No one is providing any resources for me. I don't know anyone. I'm from Los Angeles. I've been here since 2018. And so that's what I was up against. At Swag Inc., what we do, we believe, essentially, we believe once you get out of prison, you should stay out. We promote ownership for those impacted by mass incarceration. We do that by developing returning citizens to become owners through education, employment etiquette, and entrepreneurship. We also work with employers to help change the way they recruit, shifting from talent acquisition to talent sourcing. In our talent sourcing model, that's the Department of Corrections, where that untapped talent is. That's where we're going, to develop and connect, and that's what we're doing. We have employment partners that we're currently working with, J.E. Dunn Construction, FedEx, Goodwill, and also we're building a relationship with C2FO in order to provide these resources to our clients. I don't know if I write the 8 letters to Swag Inc. down when I'm incarcerated. See, everybody that goes into prison is not the same. I went into prison with 3 degrees from Kansas State University. And I found myself reverting back to a scarcity mindset because no employer would give me an opportunity because I had a prior conviction for marijuana, 21 grams. Got out of that situation, pursued education, a Bachelor's of Science in Sociology, a Bachelor's of Science in Criminology, and an AS in Psychology. No one gave me an opportunity over 3 years. So I started back selling drugs. I was going back to re-up to get more drugs to bring back to the Midwest, and I had an opportunity to have a 20-minute conversation with someone that changed my life. At the time, he was on the cusp of signing his major music deal. And I asked him, I said, hey, bro, who you gonna sign with, Rick Ross or some other entity? He said, for me, it's about patience. I know the moment I signed that contract, my life changes forever. It's about creating a long-term plan, elevating the status of the people around us. I said, wow. This person was Nipsey Hussle. He's from the same gang, community. I seen him change his whole trajectory, and it gave me hope and inspiration that I could do the same for me. And so as I was writing my business plan, it was to develop a business relationship with Nip because that was my ace in the hole. I could pull up right on, bro, easy. And I knew that he would find value in this. You couldn't tell me he wouldn't. But unfortunately, he transitioned this life to the next. And so I switched my focus to entrepreneurship. Become a social entrepreneur, using the 5 principles of design thinking to provide for our customers or our clients' pain points to ensure purpose and profitability. So those 5 principles: empathize, ideate, prototype, define, and test. And that's how I arrived at Swag Inc. and the suite of services that we offer today in 4 years. Our organization has been funded over the next 3 years. Actually, we're entering year 2 by the Hadley Project KC. Jay Lott, he helped me get into that situation by being an amazing person, by leveraging his knowledge, his skill sets, his resources in his community. The Hadley Project KC funds nonprofits who focus on social inequities, startup nonprofits. And we're able to get that opportunity with them and develop that relationship. Right? So it's very important. What I would like to do now is to open up the floor for statements, comments, feedback, or anything that you might have that you would like to work through or unpack. Mr. Tucker, Mr. Lott, excuse me. Yes, sir.
Because
my guy, Mr. Lott.
It's important. You know something? I've known you how long now? A year?
Yes, sir.
And I'm impressed. Not that, you know, I'm anybody that makes a difference, but I have a belief in me and a spirit in me that I believe in when I see something and God shows me the way, it's a lit path, you know, that's scriptural, whatever you want to look at. So the things you were saying are very important, and I can't even fathom being able to remember at this age of my life all the things you just got finished saying at one time.
Wow.
At this stage of your life. You live a purposeful life. And that's important because with purpose comes direction. And the number of things that are going through my mind while you're standing there talking is a whole story, a whole book. You know, I'm a creative guy, you know that.
Yes, sir.
and I see images and so on and so forth. Family will tell you that. And so I see your future. And I see the future of the people you connect to, because everybody's not given a path that's well lit. You have to believe in it first. And you are just being prepared for this moment in time, you know. And I'm saying this as I reflect, because in my life experience as a youth, I came from Western Pennsylvania. And, you know, we grew up around serious racism. Serious racism. But it didn't bother me because I wasn't really buying into it. Because I had white friends, black friends, everything. I just believed that everybody has something good in them. And I still believe that, no matter what your color is. It's unfortunate. Hey, Joe, how you doing? I saw him, I knew his face. But it's unfortunate that some of us have to, be, incarcerated or whatever it may be. But it's not it's not the worst thing in the world. It's just, you just have to understand who you are and where you're going. When you figure out where you're going, I believe that God, the higher power, shows you how to get there. And you just have to keep on that path. So I don't want to take a lot of time because it's a long story. My growth and my development, and I'm twice as old as you almost, whatever it is, I'm up there, and it's taken a long time for me to get where I am. I have friends that were very, very, very successful at 35 and 40. But it doesn't mean anything if you can't keep it, right? Right. And so what you're doing right now is you're lighting up. God has given you an opportunity to light a pathway for a lot of people. It just so happens that the world is turned upside down right now, and most employers can't find anybody to work that's worth anything, et cetera, et cetera. I don't mean to, put people down at all. I really don't, because I came from a struggle. There was nine of us, and we lived in an area where, we're kind of like on a border. You go to that school, another brother go to that school. You can't all you black people can't be in the same school. Elementary school, you got to move you around. So that's incarceration.
You hear me?
You understand what I'm saying?
Sir.
I mean, but we had to live and deal with it, just like you're dealing with it. And you have a major plan, and I just really I'm impressed. I really am happy for you because you see it, because you're gifted. I mean, people need to hear what you're saying. It's a gift, and it's something I don't take lightly. I appreciate you, and I do appreciate the relationship you built with Jay Lott, because that's my legacy, y'all. Mine, Ari Lott, Amy Lott. These are my children. You know what I mean? And I'm building 3 businesses for them to pick and choose from and do whatever we're going to do. So it means something for people like you to come into the life of people like us so that we can keep things moving. You just have to keep things moving. I believe in it. I mean, it's a long story. I'm going to get out of the way.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you
It's
very
powerful
much.
what you're doing.
Thank you. Real quick, let me take you back on Mr. Lott so we can know the kind of people that we have in our community. As he said, helping people that are into helping themselves. And so the first day that Jay introduced me to his family, we met at the Black Archives. They have a space there. We ate a little bit, and they asked me to come up and share my story. And I did that. And unbeknownst to me, when I left from in front of the room, Mr. Lott pulled me to the side, and he wrote me a check for $1,500. And it was right on time, because I didn't have a dime in my pocket. You hear me? And so that's what we have in our community. And so we want to really, make use of all our time and energy and resources together. We want to do that. And so I really want to stay connected with your family. I love you all, and I appreciate you. Mr. Thurman?
I met him over on Prospect. I went over there to vote. I had spent 25 years in the Department of Corruption.
My God, give it to him.
See, this is nothing but a mausoleum above ground. That's what it is. In the first place, it's legalized slavery. And if you don't think so, look at the 13th Amendment. Neither slavery nor servitude, except for punishment that you have been duly convicted by the United States or within its territory. So you automatically are a slave once you get a felony in this country, and once a slave when you get up here. I was incarcerated for aiding and abetting. Aiding and abetting is that when they ask you a question and they put you at a certain location, it means that if you don't tell them what they want to hear, or you don't turn state against whoever the person is, you got aiding and abetting. Wow. Then you look at the community, and the community is going around, and the young kids is coming in and out of the prison. They have these public pretenders. Just say yes. What? I didn't do it. Look, they scare them. Look, you young. You 20 years old. What the prosecutor asked for is 50. You'll be 70 years old when you get out of here. But you can get out tomorrow or next year. Just plead guilty, and you got 5 years. But they don't want to take that kind of chance. You know, you play the boat. You don't want them kind of odds. You know. So automatically they take the time. And that's that say yes thing. And then on the other hand about this innocent to proven guilty, that's a lie. If you was innocent proven guilty, why the hell you got to make bond?
All right. Come on now.
Yeah. Why you got to make bond? Are you innocent? Shit. Bring the public defender.
Mr. Thurman, how much time did they give you when you got sentenced?
They gave me 75 years. Yeah, give me 75 years. Yeah, I looked at the judge and I told him what I thought about him, though. You know, yeah.
What they want you to do? They want you to tell on your brother?
Yeah, they want me to tell my brother.
Did you have anything to do with it?
I was there at the place. And they ain't gonna tell me to tell on him. In other words, see, they was gonna give him the death penalty. They want me to tell on him. Right. Man, you must be crazy. That's your job, ain't mine. You're the police. You investigate. So, you know, like, I'm proud of him coming up and helping people that's getting out of prison. Only thing that saved me, when I got out of prison, they gave me $12.27 and told me they were gonna drop me off downtown. I said, man, my motor users out in California. Where'd you drop me off? Out in San Francisco on Polk Street or somewhere, man. No, send me back here. But I had somebody to pick me up. I was lucky that I had a family. My family supported me very well when I got out of the penitentiary. They looked out for me. But while I was in the penitentiary, I had a lot of chance to see a lot of brothers and help a lot of brothers with their legal work. A lot of them, I had them take the plea back. I said, man, take that back, man, because what she told you was definitely wrong. What happened to the public pretenders, they have cases stacked up to the ceiling. And that's why they tell you when you come in court, oh, just say yes and get rid of you. Put you off in here, this mausoleum, where it is that you, a possibility of you might catch some more time in there. I remember some guys come in with 5 years and end up getting right without.
You hear me? Not coming home.
So we appreciate the people that's out here just listening to us and telling you what kind of situation this is. And it's crooked as a barrel of rattlesnake and pull more tricks than David Copperfield. You watch it.
Yes, sir. We're gonna watch it. We're gonna watch it. Do we have anyone else?
If no one wants to go, I'll go after her.
I'm just curious what kind of things like Swag Inc. needs, like what kind of support, what kind of volunteer work, like what do you need?
That's a really great question. So the question is, what kind of resources are support the Swag Inc. need? You know, money is always nice, but you can give people money to go away, right? But we would like reoccurring donors, monthly donors. But right now, what we're doing is building out our executive team. And so if people wanted to leverage their knowledge, skill sets like that, that would be most helpful. A chief financial officer is our biggest need. We have partnered with Hire KC for interns to be able to kind of get us through, but developing out our executive team would be the greatest need at Swag Inc. It's a really great question. Thank you. Christine.
So I just want to say thank you again, following Mr. Lott and what he stated, for all that you do. Just so y'all know, I'm trying to remember, we met through mutual contact between Big Brothers and Big Sisters. I and my parents, Mama say hi. Say hi. I remember being in high school and I came home one evening and the house was dark and I was kind of like, what's going on? And I remember my dad having a very solemn voice, and if you know him, he's loud, so he doesn't really talk low. But he was very low that day, and I was like, what's going on? And he said, the police came to our house looking for your brother. And I have 4 brothers, but this is the youngest brother, which is just a little bit older than I am. Long story short, there was a situation that occurred, a domestic violence case, where a murder happened. And so it was shocking for our family. My brother had never had a prior record, never so much stole a piece of candy. So it's very hard for us to kind of accept and process that. Fast forward, when was that? In 2000? 2001. So let me come to 2022. I was introduced to Naeem through email. We set up a meeting. He came to the club and we began to have conversations. He learning more about Blakk, us learning more about Swag Inc. It was a very emotional experience for me because just to hear that there's another man of color in our community doing the work to ensure that all of our loved ones that will soon one day come home have a resource, I couldn't fathom. It was almost like it was unreal, honestly. I was like, this is too good to be true. This can't be. Long story short, after talking more, I discovered that Naeem and my brother both served in the same space. So when we talk about intentionality, 20 years later, a man walks into this social club that was created to give men of color a safe space, and through conversation, I learned that he served with my brother. That blessed me in more ways than you know. After that conversation, a few days later, he came back to the door with a handful of letters. He said, these are for your brother. That's what we do. In 20 years, no man has ever approached my family and said, we want to write your brother. That has never happened. So I just want to say thank you for what you're doing. Anything that we can do to continue to support the work that you do from the Blakk Company, you have our support, and we just appreciate you.
Thank you, Christina.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Can you come up for a moment? This is my mom, Miss Ray. Come on up. Trying to hide out there. All right. Yep. So my mom has been rocking with me for over 30 years. All that impact, juvenile hall, the 3 prison stints. You know, and like I said, I grew up in foster care. My mom was going through changes in her young adult life, a lot of trauma. But being in foster care, my mom came and got me every weekend. I can't remember one time that she didn't come, right? And so my mom just so happened to live in the 60s, huh?
Yeah.
You want to tell them that story, your story, and talk about Uncle Pepper a little bit?
No,
You
I
want
can't
to?
think of anything right now.
The Central Juvenile Hall, you was coming to visit me, and I was always in the hole.
Always in the hole, and I would work. I was a security officer, and I would work the day shift, and visiting hours was in the afternoons, and I would race. Sometimes we'd be 30 miles away, sometimes 40 miles away. I'd get there, he in the hole, lots of times, and so I wouldn't get to see him. I do want to tell him the one story though. About your birthday cake. You turned 13 years old in the cell, And I got this big strawberry cake. I got permission to buy cake enough for everybody just so I could give my son a piece of cake for becoming a teenager in jail. But so he didn't miss out on cake.
No, we did. No, we got that strawberry shortcake.
Yeah, he got a friend for life from that too, didn't you?
Right.
Shelby.
Well, yeah, one of my childhood friends, we were incarcerated together, and so it was a big unit. They said, hey, you can share the cake with everybody in the unit. I said, no, I can't. They're not all from the 60s. Only Kalino with us. So me and Bro eat it, and we ate it.
Oh, y'all ate the whole
We
cake?
ate the whole cake.
Oh,
Still baby.
but I remember when the guy told me that my son was in the gang. And I was oblivious to everything because I was in AA and I had a job and I had a busy life. And like you said, I would go get him on weekends, and it just never occurred to me that he could be in the gang. And I just went into tears when the man said he's a gang member, because all I knew about gang members is they die, you know, or they go to prison forever. I'm really at a loss for words. I don't know why.
You're doing good. You're good. Thank you. Thank you for stepping up, coming up. I want to talk about my Uncle Pepper a little bit before we close with last remarks. And so, my mom's brother, my uncle, the last time I seen him alive, I was 15 or so, and we wrote each other over the course of his incarceration, about 20 years or so. He was incarcerated 22 years. So from 15 till, 37 or so, I was writing him via letters. And so I'm getting into, this new role, building swag, leveraging, building my relationships. And I say, bro, as you're going up to parole hearing, I'm going to write you a pre-entry plan. We're going to get you up out of there. I created this organization, bro. It's going to exonerate you. He told me, I believe in you. I love you. Build swag and take care of your mom. He died 2 weeks later in prison. We found ourselves burying my uncle. And then it dawned on me that was the first time I seen him in person since I was a kid. Right? And so yeah, we gotta do something about this. We gotta get intentional on our value system. Is it all about money? You know what I'm saying? I just, consider like how we can help people.
And her Pepper was only a drug addict. They gave him 36 years for being an addict. There's a lot of things that the prison don't do. All they do is create havoc in the families' lives and in the inmates' lives. It's just a horrible, horrible situation. All my visiting over the years, it's you want to get there and see your loved one, but then you're so sad when you leave because you don't know if they're gonna be there when you want to go see him the next time. One time I went to the jail and his whole face was red. Eyes red, just swelled up face. Somebody pepper sprayed him. What was you, breaking up a fight?
I was fighting.
Fighting?
I mean, it is what it is. Absolutely. All right, thank you, old bird.
All right, thank you. Thank you, everybody.
All right, y'all. So we come to the end. I want to thank my supporters, everyone in the building. I want to thank my sponsors, J.E. Dunn Construction in the house. We want to do something real revolutionary. Also, the Kansas City Chamber of Commerce and our sponsors. I want to thank you as well. And with closing remarks, we have Tamira. Thank you.
Hello, everybody.
Up front.
Okay, I'm on my way.
Hello.
I'm Tamira Smith. I am Swag Inc.'s personal assistant. And so we have merch for sales, $25 for the shirts. If we don't have enough, we do have a pre-order list. You can put yourself on the list. And you can see Tamaya. Tamaya, can you raise your hand? She has the list available. And we also have 3 levels of donations. One being $25 for the lifeblood of Swag Inc. And so that's reoccurring donations of $25 every month. You also can donate $55, and that would purchase the H2O curriculum that has reduced recidivism by 8%. And that's what we are looking to do here in Kansas City. We have a support group every Sunday from 10 to 11 at Equal Minded Cafe on 43rd and Truce. or you can donate any amount that you like, or you can do all three of them. We'll appreciate it all. And so, if you're interested in booking Naeem for future speaking engagements, please see me, and we can talk about the next steps. Everybody have a good day.